as I am beginning self-deportation. I want to start off by...
So here's what I would do if I were in her shoes. Step one, I would dry my eyes and stop crying because this is probably one of the best things that ever happened. She doesn't know it now. She's going to look back in 5 years, but this situation is actually a blessing in disguise. Step two, I would go ahead and I would make sure to go to the Mexican embassy so that I could get any documentation that I needed in order to get my Mexican passport and residency for both myself and my kids ASAP. Step three, I would go ahead and I would research for the most affordable and the safest pueblo in Mexico, and I would move there. Step four, I would just put my kids in the public school. This way they're little, they can learn Spanish, and they'll be fluent in Spanish in less than a year. I notice that people who come from Anglophone countries are overly concerned about their kids learning another language, whereas when other people come to Anglophone countries, they're never worried about just throwing their kids into public school and letting their kids figure it out, which they do, and they end up being fluent in English in 6 to 12 months. Your kid's gonna learn Spanish, girl, don't worry about it. And speaking of the English language, she speaks English fluently. So if I were her, I would actually leverage that by focusing on teaching English as a second language abroad. I would get my TEFL certification and I would make sure that I was certified before I left if possible. That way, I know I could land a job easily teaching English as a second language abroad, and that could be my main stream of income. Next, I would make sure that I keep all of my receipts showing that I paid rent and utilities in Mexico for at least 2 to 3 years. Why? Because then my next move would be moving to Spain, because here's the best part in this entire plan. If you live in Mexico or any former colony of Spain for 2 to 4 years, you can actually move to Spain, live in Spain for 2 years, and guess what? You can get your Spanish citizenship. And with European Union citizenship, you have so many more countries that you could legally reside in. Countries that have free healthcare and free childcare and many more job opportunities. And if by chance you wanted to come back to the US, guess what? You can legally come back in the US for 3 months on the Shenyang visa agreement. That's if this new regime under Donald Trump doesn't ruin that for us. All the while, your kids can still maintain their American citizenship. And on the off chance you actually want to come back to the US to live, I mean, I don't know if you will want to after experiencing free healthcare and a better quality of life for your kids and a safer environment, but on the off chance that you actually would want to come back to the US,